Cha-cha-cha.
All right, I see us on Twitch. I'm checking.
We are on
YouTube.
Twitch. Yep, I can see us. Hello, Twitch. I have to go out tomorrow and get my snacks for Extra Life. And by snacks, I mean 4 cans of Monster Energy drink and a big bag of Doritos. Let's go.
Oh, man, I bought lots of snacks today.
A triple box of KD?
Hey, we got bagel bites, pizza rolls, marshmallows, Doritos, some Death Wish coffee.
I saw that.
And some Mountain Dew and root beer and Oreos. You gotta have Oreos.
I might see at some point how many Timbits I can stuff in my mouth at a point. You know what I'm saying? I'm just excited for all this.
My wife is going by and getting some fresh, spicy ghost pepper donuts for Saturday.
And when you start doing the stream, if you're not able to do it, at least ping me and ask me to look. But every time you set up a stream, it has monetization off.
Yes.
Oh.
So
we always have to go back in and rechange monetization on YouTube.
How do I do that?
Are you doing it from the website or are you doing it from the phone?
I'm doing it from a computer.
Oh, yeah. There's one of the options is to turn the monetization on before you start the stream.
On Restream or on YouTube?
YouTube. We'll sort that out. We'll figure it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll ping you because once I get that stream going, it's not stopping.
You're good to go.
24 hours, yeah.
All right. Are we ready to do this thing, Jesse?
Let's do it.
Aye.
All right. I'm ready to count us in. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 304, recorded on November 5th, 2020. On tonight's episode, we talk a lot about Nintendo's financial report. Yay! Exciting stuff. Plus, we're on the eve of Extra Life 2020. So, Marty, myself, we're going to talk about all the things that you need to be aware of. Plus, Pokemon, man, it seems to be doing well. As a matter of fact, it's going crazy. Pokemon GO. Whatever. Jesse, cue the music. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everyone? My name is Justin Masson. I am in charge of this dumpster fire of a show tonight, but we're so happy that you're here. And here with me today are two of the coolest guys on the internet. Of course, at the soundboard, making me sound sexy and good every single day, Mr. Jesse Waldak. Jesse, how are you today, sir?
Some days are just damn near impossible.
Oh! You're on fire. You're on fire today. I appreciate that. Speaking of a man who might be on fire later this weekend because he's eating a ghost pepper donut for Extra Life 2020, my man down in Tennessee, Mr. Marty Estes. Marty, how are you today?
I am good. Coming to you from a new location.
Yeah,
an undisclosed location.
How is your bunker? What's going on there?
It's a secret bunker.
It does kind of look like a bunker, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is the room in my church where I do Extra Life. So
looks like he's set up for a live studio audience
for tomorrow's stream. We did a little stream test this afternoon, and everything sounds buttery smooth.
Excellent.
And so I'm looking forward to 24 hours of video games starting. Well, if you're listening to the audio version, we're probably already started by the time you get this.
That's right. If you're listening to the audio version right now, just shut your front door, right? Pull your car over, grab your phone, head over to Twitch, head over to YouTube, watch live, and of course, while you're there, head over to Extra Life 2020, search in Marty Estes or Nintendo Dads, and you donate to the amazing Make-A-Wish Foundation, Children's Miracle Network Foundation, and that's what all of this goes towards. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a couple of moments. Jesse, that volume continues to go, and it's so loud right now. Thank you for turning it down. It just kept getting louder. I appreciate that.
It was like a plane taking off.
I know, and it's just like...
I think that's doomed to thinking that, this must need to be louder. But, at least to the recording and to YouTube, it didn't change.
Yeah, I appreciate it. They're probably like, this man is so loud, we're just going to turn him down and turn the volume up. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump into it. Of course, Marty's only going to be here for a short amount of time. He's going to run us through the back in my day section of the show. We're going to then talk a little bit about Extra Life, so everyone is fully aware of what's going on, where they need to be, and how to support it. So, of course, let's jump into Back in My Day. Back in my day. I love that. That's Donkey Kong country music going in the background. Is that right?
Yes.
It's a Cranky Kong music.
That's a Cranky Kong theme.
I know. My heart. I was like, they say in Whoville, the Grinch's hot grew 3 sizes that day. Boom, 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 boom. All right, Marty, run us through Back in My Day. And of course, if you're new to Back in My Day, let's talk a little bit about it.
Here we go. November 1st through the 7th, we're going to walk through this by year. And for you guys who maybe you missed a couple episodes or so, it's a new segment for the show, just kind of bringing you some Nintendo news and history from this week, in beginning this year or this week in 1996. Wave Race 64 was released in this week in North America for the Nintendo 64.
Before we get too much further into this, do you like it better formatted by year, or do you like it formatted by date like we started doing?
You know what? Let's let the listeners decide.
Good question.
Let's let them decide. So if you want it by day, like here's all the things that happened on November 1st through the year's 2nd, tell us. If you want it by year, tell us. And we'll keep it whatever way you want it.
Because I know which one I like better, but we'll see what everyone else says.
Okay. In 2000, Mario Tennis was released in Europe for the Nintendo 64. Donkey Kong Country was released in North America for the Game Boy Color.
There we go. Let's go.
Yeah, 2001,
I forgot that was a thing.
Pokemon Crystal released in Europe for the Game Boy Color. 2002, NHL Hits 2003 was released in Europe for the GameCube. In 2005, the Game Boy Micro launched in Australia and Europe. Donkey Kong Country 3 was released in Europe and North America for the Game Boy Advance. Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones was released in Europe for the Game Boy Advance, and Mario Party 7 was released in North America for the GameCube. In 2006, Elite Beat Agents was released in North America for the DS. And in 2007, the very first Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was released in North America for the Wii. Y'all remember when the news of that one broke? And it was like Mario and Sonic in the same game.
Yeah, that was earth-shattering.
Yep. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. In 2008, saw the release of the Nintendo DSi in Japan and Professor Layton in the Curious Village in Europe for the DS.
Interestingly enough, never a franchise I have never played at all in any way. Jesse
can tell you all about it.
Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah.
You don't need to. You don't need to, but I know you could. You know, that's.
In 2009, Style Savvy was released in North America for the DS.
A franchise I've never played.
The
oddly enough, I have.
Oh wow!
Well, why am I not surprised?
The black version of the Wii was launched in Europe in 2009. 2010 saw Fling Smash released in North America for the Wii, and in 2016, Mario Party Star Rush was released in North America for the 3DS. That is your week in Nintendo.
Mario Party Star Rush was such an. I remember you got it, and I know we had got a review copy of it. I'd have to pull the archives on that one. But I remember we have a video of it, and it was just kind of like it felt very empty as a Mario Party game, as I recall.
Yeah, it was lacking.
Yeah. It felt very just not quite. Well, I think what it did, as I recall. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking because I was like the Mario Party franchise has always worked really well when people are together, right? It's the couch co-op, the couch crazy, and I think very much a device like the 3DS is very singular. Now, of course, you could share and join other parties, but it felt very isolating. I think it was just a lot of mini games, wasn't it?
They still would have allowed you to play multiplayer with multiple
you're right.
systems.
You're right on that, Jesse. But I just remember
also
just being
think
crazy.
You are thinking of Mario Party: The Top 100.
You know what? You're 100% right, Marty. I am. Thank you.
This one was the one that did such a good job of multi-cart or multi-console from one cart.
Mm-hmm.
There was a demo that allowed players to join players with a full game, and it had a limited number of mini games in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so their modes were Toad Scramble, Coinathon, or Coinathlon, and Balloon Bash, and the regular Mario Party uh, thing. Star Rush also included boss battles
Oh,
as mini games. So
okay.
there, basically, at the time. It I really think it went back to like the board-based gameplay,
Yep.
which people were wanting, but it was, of course, only for handheld.
Right. Yeah. Which kind of just made it feel a little bit weird, didn't it?
Yeah. So the main mode is everyone plays as Toad.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you recruit characters from the Mario franchise to be on your team.
Yep.
But you don't play them. And I think that's where
Is that the one where they
felt a
had
little weird
each
about it.
character had different dice, so depending on who you had as a team, you can choose your dice
No,
rolls?
maybe, but that also carried over to Super Mario Party on the Switch.
Mm.
So that was
Okay,
there.
well, I know I didn't play that one, but I think there was another Mario Party that I played that did that, so that could have been it.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, always good stuff. The year in, and of course, as I look at this list here, I would be remiss. Of course, we talk about NHL hits, 2000 to 2003. I would, of course, be remiss if there was no discussion about NHL. Where did it go?
NHL 94 Rewind?
NHL 94, right? Rewind.
Which is still not on the Switch, and it's a crime against humanity.
And of course, our good friend Chris.
I see what you did there.
Let's talk about that NHL 94 Rewind released on October 30th to those who pre-ordered the NHL 21. However, NHL 21 is not on the Switch, which means NHL 99 Rewind is not either. Although Marty isn't interested, there is a huge market for this on the Switch. What do you think is keeping EA from selling NHL 94 Rewind on the eShop? And should this extend to other games in their catalog? If so, what would you like to see? I do think, Chris, here's the thing. It's an exclusivity deal for now, right? They want to draw people. Right? If you were on the fence about buying NHL 21.
Exclusive to what? Isn't it on every other system?
Well, it is, but what I'm saying is that that's like the bonus, right? If you pre-order, if you get it, you get this bonus game, right? So it's incentivizing you to spend more money if you were maybe on the fence about it, to do it. What's going to eventually happen is obviously NHL 21 is not going to come to the Switch. They will unbundle that and they will put it out, because here's the thing. It's already basically done, and it will sell and it will make money.
Yeah,
so
it's totally
I think it will.
I fully believe it's happening.
Your answer is better than mine. My theory is they fired the one person who knows how to make Switch games, other than change a roster and then recompile, because that's what they've done for the last two FIFA games.
And so that's why they had to delay Apex, is because they're just waiting on someone to learn how to like recode for a Switch.
I think so.
Do you know how to code for the Switch?
No, we don't.
And then the CEO got a $50 million bonus.
Yeah,
for saving money.
EA has clearly said that they are going to bring, I think it's like 7 games to Nintendo Switch by June of next year. I think it was, right? We have
NHL 94 has got to be one of them.
NHL 94, I bet you, will be one of those, because inevitably what's going to happen, in my honest opinion here, Chris, and we all know that I'm a fanboy on the Apex idea right now, but what they're going to see is that like Burnout sold well, FIFA didn't sell well, but that's because and I don't mean this disparagingly, if they just rewrapped FIFA from last time, right? And we've seen that
2
from the
years
reviews.
in a row.
Yeah. Burnout Paradise sold. They have another car racing game coming out this month. When Apex does actually come out, you're going to see that's going to do really well from a monetization model. I think that you're going to see something like Plants vs. Zombies, right? Some of these kind of low-hanging fruit things that could end up on
the original
there.
one,
that
only
is
the pew other ones that I don't like.
Okay.
The Garden
Like, which ones
Warfare.
Yeah, Garden Warfare could be, and I think, am I wrong that the Mass Effect trilogy is EA?
Yes.
It is EA. You are
I
not
am
wrong.
right? No, and so that rumor is kind of speculating out there. EA is going to discover that if they put stuff on the Switch, it sells. So that's going to that's what's going to happen. I suspect will eventually come. But of course, we thank you so much, Chris, for that question, and us discussing NHL '94 again is a donation of $5 to Extra Life because we talked about it, Chris.
Isn't it every time we mention NHL '94
I
Rewind?
listen. I don't want to break the poor fella. All right, I don't want to. I don't. Donkey Kong Country was great, but let me tell you about NHL '94.
I took that as per week, so maybe if we
okay.
talk about it again
Well, then
next week, maybe
it's
you'll
pretty
donate
much been
again.
on the show every week for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Justin. I think the shoe in for me on the question of what does EA bring over next, it's The Sims. Why is The Sims not on Switch? It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and I think when you when we watched the EA presentation, I think when they mentioned The Sims, we were like, yeah, that's coming. It logically makes sense in a world where Animal Crossing has done, and we're going to talk about sales numbers here later, incredibly well. I'm sure a company like EA, and I've talked about this before, is looking at that saying, we have a game. It's called Sims. It's probably not hard processing, right? It's not anything strenuous, and we know it will sell. I would love to understand, and this is, and of course, this is me sitting back in my quarterback chair here, making decisions for an industry that I'm just a fanboy of. But I would love to understand the business process of that decision for why it hasn't been announced, or is it in development, and is it just going to be a surprise and it's out today kind of thing?
Like, and you saying that, I think there's an important thing there. The business decision between let's bring Burnout Paradise to the Switch before we bring The Sims.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm not. I like Burnout Paradise. I think it's a fine game. I'm just saying, I think the fit is better for The Sims. I actually think the fit is better for Plants vs. Zombies than Burnout Paradise.
I wonder. I always kind of wonder: is it is it low hanging fruit, right? This is the easiest thing. Because of course I've talked about this before: effort, time and energy versus reward, right? These are the things, and so this is kind of one of the reasons. And so I go back to that idea of, and everyone's going to like shake their head like, okay, Justin, we get it, Apex, but they're not going to want Apex to delay much longer, right? Because you have time, energy, and resources being devoted to getting that over to the Switch. This was my argument last time. You have time and energy being devoted to that. Where do you think you're going to get the profit out of it first and quickly enough to recoup those losses, right? Recoup that time. And how does that impact your bottom line and your funds to stockholders, right? So I think those are things to consider when you think about that. I think we're going to hear more from EA in 2021. We may have expected to have heard more in 2020, but obviously, COVID has delayed a lot of things. It may have adjusted things, right? Yeah. So there we are.
So with that being said, why don't we just go ahead and dive into the news?
And of course, the news is brought to us by you, our amazing folks over at patreon.com and patreon.com. And of course, you can go patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. But let's hit that bumper first, will we? All right.
So glad you mentioned Patreon, because we have 2 brand new patrons this week. Skinny Matt and Ryan Walters. Thank you guys so much for becoming patrons of the show. We appreciate you guys so much. Also returning to the show, he used to be a patron. Brian is back, and we thank you for chiming in at the year donation as well. So he's going to be around for a while, guys. Settle in. We got to get used to Brian the Beard. And I'm glad he's back. But Justin, let's talk for just a few minutes before I have to dip out of here about Extra Life, right?
Yes.
Extra Life is going on this weekend. Game day begins tomorrow morning, or as you guys are hearing this on audio today, 8 a.m. today, we kick off our 48-hour plus Extra Life March to $4,000. Because guess what, guys? We picked up another team member tonight.
We did. They were like, let's get choo-choo. Let's get on board the hype train now.
That's
Nick
right.
Metzger joins us.
Playing for Team Nintendo Dads this year is myself, Justin, Tim, Antonio Catronio, and Nick Metzger. And I'm happy to report at this time, Tim has exceeded his goal.
Smashed it.
He smashed it by like $90 or so, $70.
Yep.
Antonio is well on his way to his goal of $500.
Yes.
He needs $200 more to meet his goal. So if you're listing right now, head over to extra-life.org and give Antonio a donation, help him meet his goal. But guys, right now, we are sitting at $2,589 out of $4,000 raised for Extra Life, which is ridiculous. That's awesome. I was doing a little bit
ridiculous
of math.
in a good way.
It's ridiculous in a good way. I was doing a little bit of math as we were wrapping up our talk about EA. And for me to meet my goal in the next 24 hours, I only need $605 in donations left.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Oh my gosh, it's bonkers. We crossed the $1,000 threshold earlier today, which means tomorrow at near the 6 o'clock hour, when I'm finishing the 2 hours there, I'm going to get pied in the face live on stream.
That's fantastic.
If we reach $1,250, we're also going to make up another one. We're going to pie my son live on camera going into the 6 o'clock hour. From there at $1,500, he and I play Just Dance in workout gear.
Awesome.
Yep. And then $1,750, I've talked about this for a couple weeks. I am going to eat the spicy ghost pepper donuts from Dunkin' Donuts, and he's decided he's going to join in and have one too.
Ooh.
For $1,750. And look, anything we get above that, and I say anything we get above that because at the pace that we're tracking at, for me, I believe I'll cross $1,750 and keep going, which is going to be awesome. And Justin, you were up there too.
Thank you.
Without even having played yet, I'm looking at our team page right now. Justin has raised $736.40.
That's USD, by the way. That's like a billion Canadian dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, funny thing here. One of the guys, I had a guy donate to mine, Roe Burrito, which I love the name. Donated $20 Canadian, and it translated to 1501.
Yeah,
down here. So I have $1,145.01.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm thinking about just donating 99 cents to round it out.
Sure. Yeah. So like we're absolutely crushing it. So if you're saying like, where do I donate? Of course you can donate on Extra Life home. You can go to Extra Life 2020. It's fine, Nintendo Dads. You can donate to any of our participants, right? Marty, myself. Again, Tim has crushed his goal, but you can continue to donate to Tim. Antonio is on his way. Help out Antonio. And Nick is our fighter who just arrived right now, but I'm hyping for Nick. Let's go. He's got a 500 goal.
I can't wait.
I'm excited to see that. And of course, every single dollar that you donate gets you entered into win prizes. And we got a ton of prizes. Marty, what do we got for him?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We have partnered with PDP, who makes fine, upstanding accessories, controllers, cases, other products, Pixel Pals, for all gaming systems, but they make some great stuff for the Switch. We've also partnered with Ginky, who makes the covert dock and the audio adapter, Bluetooth audio adapter for the Switch. And we are providing some prizes as well. So let's do a quick rundown of those. One lucky person who donates is going to win a Nintendo Switch Lite. Completely free, shipped to you by the Nintendo Dads in the color of your choosing as soon as it is available. Nintendo Switch Lite direct to you. Also, one lucky winner is going to win Mario Kart Live home circuit, the Mario version. It is in hand. It is ready to be shipped as soon as we draw for those prizes. Also, 2 lucky winners will receive Nintendo Dads game vouchers. All right? What that means is this. Nintendo Dads will buy you a game. Now, here's the deal. Is it going to be a Switch game? It doesn't have to be. We've bought people PlayStation games before. It's against our religion, but we will do it. All right? So
Says the person who works in a church.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
Glad you got it.
Oh.
So here's the thing. If it's a brand new Xbox game, if it's a brand new PS4 game, if it's a Switch game, you tell us, we float you the funds. Boom. It's bought. 2 lucky winners for there. From there, 3 lucky winners are going to win a PDP case and $10 in eShop credit for the Nintendo eShop. 3 other lucky winners are going to win a PDP case and a randomly drawn at my choosing a Pixel Pal to decorate your desk with. All right? 6 winners will then go on to win a PDP bundle, which includes a Nintendo Switch case, a Nintendo Switch controller, and a Pixel Pal. And then one person will win a Pokemon Light Up Dock Shield that PDP has given to us. And then Ginky is going to ship someone a secret item. A secret item that has not been released by them before. So if you're keeping count, that is Switch Lite, Mario Kart, 2 vouchers, and then 12 prizes from PDP, 13 prizes from PDP plus the dock, that's 17. And then the Ginky, that's 18. 18 different prizes that you can win. How do you win? You donate
That's it.
to Extra Life, and every dollar that you donate is an entry to win a prize.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
And since searching at the Extra Life site is sometimes not simple, probably an easier way to do it is to go to nintendodads.org. You'll find our tracker with a make a donation button. Hit that to go to our page. Yep. Go to the roster, and it'll show the 5
Choose
people.
Justin.
You can pick the one you want to donate to.
Absolutely. Yep. And tomorrow and all weekend long, as the dads stream, each one has their giving URL at the bottom of their stream background. So you can choose which dad you want to give to. The main thing is, Justin, that we help sick kids. But tell us, what is the other main thing that comes along with Extra Life?
Of course, tax receipts are great, right? Financially, I like that. Helping children is great. Awesome. You might win stuff. Awesome. You support our community. Awesome. But number one, ladies and gentlemen, the number one most important thing is I want to destroy the mega dads. And
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we already are, but let's just bring them down into the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Those crazy SOBs, let's just bury them. Why would you mess with us? 5-time Extra Life champions. If there was we haven't made a belt. Do you know why?
Is it 5 times?
4 times. It's 4 times.
Today,
Extra
this
Life
year
champion.
will be the 5th time.
Right? I don't. Either which way, destroy them. Destroy them.
Yeah, we need a championship belt.
I did send them a pep talk today via Twitter, by the way.
Yeah,
have you seen that video? Yeah.
I need to find that. I have not seen that.
So anyway, no mystery additions this week.
Mystery additions.
I mean, every week you've added something to the prize pool.
Oh yeah, last week. Oh, that is right. Last week we did give away Jesse. Yeah.
No, I mean like a real one.
I think just the hopes and dreams of children's. You know, that's a real mystery gift. Real mystery gift.
What you're saying is, we've already spent enough money on this.
What I'm really thinking is, we got a lot of things we have to ship. We have a budget. We have to ship a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what? Here's the thing.
I also do want to say one of the other things that we should really make sure that we are going to tune into, ladies and gentlemen, it's not Extra Life. If my beautiful redhead of a wife does not come onto the stream and absolutely destroy Marty Estes in games of Dr. Mario.
Yeah, I mean,
that's going to happen.
It can't.
That's
so
tradition.
when is that going to happen?
You and I are going to have to figure that out off stream, but she asked me that today. She's like, so when am I destroying Marty? More specifically, she said, when am I going to make a grown man cry? And I say, every day, dear. Every day you make me cry.
Here's the deal. We can squeeze that in tomorrow in the evening if she wants to. I've got some time around it'd be 8 Central.
Okay.
So I could do 30 minutes or so of Dr. Mario there.
Okay, so it's 7 o'clock for me. Yeah, I think we can arrange that. I'll let her know.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
And guys, for me, that is an evening. I'm gonna go home and get some sleep because I've got to be up here in the morning, early, prepping, getting ready for Extra Life, making sure all of my backgrounds and scenes are set, breakfast is eaten, pee is evacuated, and I'm ready to settle down for a day, a whole day. And so
and of course, folks, you can catch all of that live on Twitch, on YouTube. Jump in, support. Even if if you're not able to donate, that's okay too. Just hey, cheer on Marty, watch. That would be amazing for all of us.
And I was gonna say that, like, even if you can't donate, sharing it so other people can see it is key. And this would be a great time. A gift to us as well as Nintendo Dads would be helping us meet the requirement of 75 people on stream on Twitch, so that we can get to Twitch affiliate or partner or whatever that is, right? I mean, can we?
Yep.
That's not a big ask. We're not asking for money there. We're just asking for your time.
We're just asking for the usual. Let's see. Currently, there are 7 people here. If you could, everyone find 68 more friends and invite them to this, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and also I am going to make the ask because I'm just going to do it. If, like I have said all week long, is like, if we could just get to half, before I start, I'll be satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I'm not. I'm sorry. So I would like, it's right now it's 11:45 is where I'm sitting. If I could get to 12:50 before in the morning, that would just throw my soul. And who knows?
All right.
I'm going to say this: $2,000, because my goal is $1,750. If we make it to $2,000, I will make my own. I will give a prize.
There you go.
I will give a prize of my own.
There you go. All
right. It will be Nintendo related. So like, don't be thinking it's like, oh well, Marty's gonna crap in a box and send it to me. No, that I wouldn't do.
I like how that's where your first thought was, and all of us were like, nope, that wasn't what we were thinking.
I'm a dad. Poop jokes. Just
that's fair.
But
that's
anyway,
fair.
Anyway, so if you want to make a donation, every time that text message comes up, I squee a little bit, like. So anyway, guys, have a great show. I'll see everybody at 8 a.m. in the morning, whether you're at work or just hanging out tomorrow.
8 a.m. Central.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Central.
Follow along with me. Mega Man 3's up first. It's going to be awesome.
I've got a spot where I'm putting my phone right when I come into my office tomorrow. I'm plugging it in, and let's go, Marty. Let's go.
All right. See you guys. Have a great show.
Bye-bye. All right, I know Marty's left the chat. I want to say this one last little quick thing before as well. If you are very interested, there are times that actually Marty and I overlap. For when I go live, I'm going to be going live on to Extra Life at 12:01 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Saturday morning. So I'll do my session from there. But for about 8 hours, Marty and I are actually overlapping. So we're going to play games together. We're playing Fortnite together. We're going to play Overwatch together. We're going to play Marvel's Ultimate Alliance together. So if you're looking to, you're up late night on Friday, Saturday morning, you want to pop in and see some co online play games, jump in. So, Jesse, anything to talk about there?
I can't think of anything. I'm looking forward to seeing how far the donations end up, and I'll try to watch when I can. I have other obligations going on tomorrow afternoon, but I'll watch in the morning and I'll watch in the evening.
For sure. Yeah, and I promise we're almost done talking about Extra Life, folks. It's a big project for us. It's something we're very passionate about, and we are so thankful for our community. Who, we've talked about this being four times we've done this. We've talked about destroying Mega Dad. It's a bit of a laugh, but the thing that I am the most impressed with is that this community has raised over $10,000 for Children Miracle Networks across North America, and that's just incredible. With your support, we can continue to make that grow. So thank you, Jesse. Let's jump right into the news. We've already hit the bumper. Right, you're jumping. I like. Thank you. You did the little jumping motion. I like that. Guys, if you want to, just sit back. Kick your feet up. You got casual time now with Jesse and Justin. It's business time. I think this is the thing that you and I are kind of the most passionate about, because Nintendo did announce late last night, early this morning, their financial reports for their last
This actually landed before I went to sleep last night. So
Perfect.
I was planning on going to bed, and I saw this come out. I saw Wario 64 started tweeting this stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I dove in and made notes up before I went to bed last night.
You're a gentleman and a scholar. So what we are capturing here, just for those of you at the the playing at home game, we are capturing Nintendo's second quarter, their second fiscal quarter or financial quarter. This running from July 1st to September 30th. And this is just important to realize that window because we're going to be talking about what games are tracked in there as well. Quick couple of pieces of information about hardware. The Switch sold 6.86 million units between July 1st through to September 30th worldwide. And that brings the total number of units of Nintendo Switch units that have been sold to 68.30 million units sold. Just as an FYI for this, this number is not broken out into Switch Lites and Switches as well. This is actually interestingly enough, a 21% increase over the previous quarter, and this number would have obviously most likely been higher if there weren't for virus-related factory closes related to the shortage as well. Go ahead, Jesse.
Okay, I realize I still have notes from last quarter in here that I should put, but
That's okay.
I was going to say, a few weeks ago I said this might be closer to 80. Mm-hmm. I think I was thinking more by closer to the year end, not quarter.
Sure.
But
yep.
And I think I heard that they're extending their goal for the fiscal year from 19 to 24 million.
Oh, they're increasing their projections, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, and that's I think that's a very interesting move, especially in a time right now where we know we have these new consoles coming into the market. To basically say, yeah, we'll be all right. We're actually going to boost up our kind of guesses at that as well. This also could be on the eve of potentially, if we think about their reporting that I've kind of said that I think the Switch Pro may be like happy 4th anniversary Nintendo Switch, and by the way, we have a Switch Pro coming out in March. And that may really help to boost those sales. Go ahead, Jesse.
If they do it in March, I expect it to be kind of early March, like the original launch 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. That way, they can get that initial kick of sales towards this fiscal year.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be overly shocked by that as well. Jesse, anything from a hardware sales perspective? They didn't break that down into the Switch Lite and the Switch on the document, did they? I know that I don't have it in the notes here, but did they?
They did in. Not on the normal webpage where I pull these numbers from, but from the slide doc. They did break that down, but I didn't note those numbers.
Okay.
If you want me to dig for it, I can look it up and go back to it.
I would be curious if maybe you can take a quick gander at that while I kind of continue marching us through some of the important other pieces of information.
Sure, I'll try to find it.
As we move into that, we're going to talk about our software sales. This is the thing that I think we're always a little bit interested in as to how did the games do? How did the sales go? And so now, again, these are as of September 30th. What we saw was that Mario Kart 8, amazingly enough, ladies and gentlemen, Mario Kart 8 still holds that number one spot at 28.99 million, just shy of 29 million, which is absolutely crazy to think that. I mean, you're almost at a 1 in 2 attachment rate for Mario Kart 8 as relates to the Nintendo Switch. So it continues to hold at number one. The part that we were always kind of chatting about, Jesse, and I think we talked about it probably being done by the end of the year, was Animal Crossing New Horizons is now in second place and was in second place last year. We thought that, or last quarter.
The entire top 10 didn't shift.
Yeah, it did not shift at all. We had kind of thought that maybe Animal Crossing might end up taking it, but it did not. Animal Crossing at 26.04 million. Again, folks, this is really impressive when you consider that this game only has been out in their reporting perspective for 6 months and like 10 days. That is absolutely crazy. Jesse, thoughts?
Yeah, it did. Animal Crossing did outsell Mario Kart for the quarter. Mm-hmm. So if that trend continues, they can still take over the number one spot. My prediction was it would, and then it would lose it again.
Yeah, and I think
Mario Kart has the bigger tail.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it as well is that Mario Kart, we know traditionally Nintendo has bundled that in with their consoles for their holiday packages, and they have also made it very appealing. I think it's like Best Buy has a deal right now where it's like Mario Kart and Mario Party for like, I think like $100, like cheaper than if you bought them separately, essentially. So Mario Kart is kind of like we'll just put it on everything game, and I think that helps to increase those numbers as well. So I think that, to your point, we might have seen Animal Crossing take a lead, and then I think Mario Kart will continue to do that. But I think over the long time, I think Animal Crossing will probably beat them. Coming at number 3 is Super Smash Brothers, 21 million. Number 4, Breath of the Wild at 19.74. Pokemon Sword and Shield, 19.02. Super Mario Odyssey, 18.99. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee Pikachu, 12.49. So there's such a big gap between 6 and 7 there. There's just over 6.5 million units between Super Mario Odyssey and Pokemon Go. You can just kind of see that almost that separation of what we would probably really call like that A tier or A level of games, those kind of big franchises that really move the needle. And then you kind of move into these other franchises that are doing really well, what I would almost consider our B tier, that does really well, has good movement. So moving in at number 8, we have Super Mario Party, Splatoon 2, and Super Mario Deluxe. Super Mario U Deluxe. I apologize. And so that's pretty good. Now, go ahead.
Another thing I noted is, everything is sold at least 1 million units. It goes down to Let's Go. It only sold 520,000 in the quarter, but all the games from Breath of the Wild. So Breath of the Wild was 4th. So 4, 5, 6, and 7 slot.
Yep.
Still sold double or more than the previous quarter. So the previous quarter, Let's Go only sold 280,000. So, these are still spiking up, even though it's not true for the entire top 10 list, but at least that group definitely was.
For sure. One of the other interesting ones that I know that when I saw this report, and sorry, Jesse, I've got Casey yawns here. Whoa. But I know when I saw this report, the first thing I really wanted to try and find out was Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
I was surprised that it didn't sell as much. I
am, but I'm not. And if we remember, it came out like the 11th, I think, of September. Like, it only had like 3 weeks. Oh, the 18th. I apologize. The 18th. So it literally only had 12 days, and it sold 5.21 million units. Now, again, I think this
the 5.21 is, I think, as of the date of the call.
Oh, was it?
Because they said 3.5 million units sold in the first 4 weeks. So that is past the September 30 date deadline. Mm-hmm. So those numbers are still skewed. But yeah, they sold at least 5 million units. Yeah. Where I was expecting to see more like 10.
Yeah. And I think when we heard
15
about
by the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah. When we heard about shortages, scarcity, right? And then I think Nintendo saying it's a limited edition or a limited time. I think those were all things that we expected to kind of really see spike up as well. So we'll keep an eye on Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the year as well.
All right, if you want to go back to Switch Lite sales, I don't have numbers for the entire life cycle, but for Q1 and Q2 of this fiscal year, it's been about 2-to-1 Switch versus Switch Lite. It was 12.5 million units sold total, or 8.36 was Switches and 4.17 is Switch Lite. In comparison to the same 6 months the previous year, it's a 68% increase for normal Switches and 113% increase in Switch Lites.
Wow.
They went from just under 2 to over 4.
That's pretty significant. It's a pretty significant growth there as well. A couple other things to talk about here as well. There are a bunch of other games that are $1 million sellers that we're doing quite well. Ring Fit Adventure at 5.84. Super Mario 3. We talked about Paper Mario: The Origami King at 2.82. So a lot of really good sales. Jesse, any shock on these sales numbers or anything that kind of rings true or thought about as we move into November and December, the last parts of this year? We know that there's Black Friday. We know that the console war is heating up. What is your take on this, and how do you think Nintendo's positioned?
Yeah, I think they're positioned fairly well. Just you can, by the look of these top 10 games, and probably more like the top 4, they're selling games with systems, and that's why they have long tables. As long as the systems will keep selling, the games will keep selling. I'm actually kind of surprised that like Xenoblade and Clubhouse didn't sell as many those they were over the over the 1 million mark the last time we talked about it, and they're still kind of sitting at that same place. So not all of these games have the same tail.
Yeah, and I wonder if games like that, I think especially those, Xenoblade was the end of May, Clubhouse was the beginning of June. If, and here's the other part of this, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Jesse, these numbers are only retail numbers, right?
No, these will
are
include
not
digital.
These will include digital as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering of with self-isolation, right, are people at that time were not maybe going out.
Another bullet point here, I did talk about digital sales compared to physical sales.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. In the previous quarter, digital sales was actually the majority of
Sure.
games sold. It was 55.6%.
Yeah.
The second quarter lowered to 38.9% for a 6 months average of 47.2. My thoughts are 3D All-Stars is the reason, because people were wanting that physically just because it's limited edition.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, that would probably have a similar ratio.
Yeah, I think that, and then I think also probably just people going out, right? And at that point, if we think of the first quarter of the year, again, April, May, June, a lot of people were still very isolated, right? Trying to avoid contact. Where I think what we've seen, and especially I think in North America, some of those self-isolation guidelines kind of loosened up in the summer into August, and people kind of went on with their life. So more likely to go into a big box store, into
interesting
Walmart.
To see what the next quarter will look like if things, like in the UK, they are locking down. I wouldn't be surprised if areas in the US also lock down.
Yeah,
because numbers are bad.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been Nintendo in 2020, but of course they did give us a little bit of insight of what's happening in the late 2020 and into 2021. What they did mention is, of course, upcoming first-party games. We have Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity coming out November 20th. Fitness Boxing 2: Rhythm and Exercise. I completely forgot this existed. Coming out on December 4th.
You're not the only one.
I know, right? I was like, that's a surprise. Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury coming out on.
Every time I see that, I want to say furry, knowing it's
I'm
Fury,
like,
and then you just did
right.
it too.
Yeah, February 12th, 2021, and Bravely Defaults 2, February 26th, 2021. We found this information out yesterday, last week. They did have some TBAs on that docket as well. Bayonetta 3 still TBA. Metroid Prime 4, this is very interesting. It's still TBA, but they actually have the title as temporary Metroid Prime 4.
And it's been there for a year. Everything here except for new Pokemon Snap has been here for at least a year.
Yeah, that's a good point. And of course, the sequel to the Breath of the Wild is temporary or to be announced, and same with new Pokemon Snap. Jesse,
which again, I forgot about that.
That's okay. Yeah, right. Anything in there that you're thinking about or ringing your bell?
Well, I do have the 3D World pre-ordered, and most of the other Mario ports from Wii U to Switch I didn't buy. Mm-hmm. So this is basically this and Pikmin are like the only two games that I really did double dip on. Well, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but I got that as a review code. I wasn't planning on buying that originally.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. But
again, I understand it's not new to me, but it's new to the majority of the Switch owners.
Yeah, exactly. And there are lots of third-party games coming up in the next little bit. Just a quick rundown of some of those ones. Tropico 6, Fuser, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, Just Dance 2021, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit Remastered, Sniper Elite 4, Empire of Sin, Immortals, Phoenix Rising, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, and the collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend as well.
All of those are coming out before the end of the year, and I have a collection pre-purchased.
Okay.
That's probably the only one on this list I'm going to get.
Yeah, the only one that actually, and I do have some money down on, is Immortals Phoenix Rising. That one is definitely on my interest as well. It's funny. I was actually thinking about it, and Hyrule Warriors, that as well. I was thinking about that. I don't have a lot of games that I'm super excited for. There's always games that are on the horizon that you're hyped for, that you're kind of looking forward to. Not a lot, but I still think that we're closing off the year pretty well. Yeah,
because this whole year has been weird. We normally know 2 or 3 times as many games that are coming out in the future, mm-hmm. but this year it's been 2 or 3 games that they didn't even announce until the game went gold. It was available for pre-purchase and to download that build now, mm-hmm. and so it'll be interesting to see if that pattern continues, or if next year we may have an E3 blowout that we never got this year.
Yeah. Well, and it is interesting, and I don't want to be like there weren't games that I didn't enjoy. There are a ton of games that came out this year that I've super enjoyed and loved. And I think it was a great year. I don't think it's been their best year, but I think it's been a really solid year. And there are still content I am looking forward to as well. Very excited to see what 2021 it has in plan for Nintendo. Let's move on to another couple pieces of interesting news. Jesse, do you want to go through this? There's some other Super Mario 35 anniversaries and what's going on here?
Yeah, so I think last week we talked about 2 additional missions on the Super Mario 35th anniversary website page. Earlier, a few days ago, I just looked just to see, gee, I wonder if they have a new mission out there. And they do. They give you a link to an Amazon page that has Mario timeline and information with links to either pre-purchase an item, or pre-order an item, or buy an item. And if you scroll, so the mission is, I guess I didn't write the name of the mission, but basically you go to the website, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a do fun stuff, score great rewards link. Click that, you go back to the missions page, and that will trigger that mission success of you going to the Amazon page. And in addition to that, you'll get 100 platinum points.
Okay. And we also seen Amazon is doing some kind of like special boxes, Nintendo and Mario related boxes. So if you order an Amazon gift, you may randomly get a Nintendo, just the box is Nintendo branded, essentially.
Yeah, I've seen, I've delivered Amazon packages in the past, so I've seen, especially during the holiday season, they'll have these custom boxes, paid advertising for other things, but now Nintendo's getting in on that, and I think it's pretty funny. So you might buy your Xbox Series X controller and get it in a Nintendo packaged box.
I would love to see those photos if that happens, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to see that. Cool. So folks, keep doing those Mario 35 anniversary stuff. They're going to eventually be like, hey, by the way, now you can redeem it for another set of pins or something.
Yeah, so, they did say there's going to be a second set of pins. They didn't say when.
Yeah.
So, I'll try to
be
keep
prepared
an eye out for that.
Absolutely.
Be prepared.
Yeah. And then the final thing, and of course, Jesse, having you in this pocket will be a great opportunity. Pokemon GO has had the best revenue year to date, and they estimate that 2020 year's revenue have reached $1 billion over the last 10 months, providing a lifetime revenue of over $4 billion. Jesse, these are insane numbers. Talk to me a little bit about Pokemon GO. What do you think of this?
I'm not surprised because Pokemon GO did, and Niantic did a lot of things in an attempt to keep people playing in the pandemic. Allowing you to do more things from home. You can remote raids, which of course, they're giving away a ton of remote raid passes, but still, if you run out and need to buy more, you can redeem your coins for that. You need coins, there's your real money purchase. So, and I'm probably still dumping. I'm playing 2 accounts. I'm probably putting at least $50 a month between the 2 accounts.
Wow.
Because I go through a lot of incubators. So I am not a small. I am a significant portion of the 1 billion. I'm sure.
Sure.
And then a difference I didn't know to put it in the notes here, but a breakdown of the 4 billion lifetime sales they had by region, and the U.S. has the biggest slice at like 1.6 billion.
Sure.
Japan had the second biggest slice at 1.4 billion.
Okay.
That's a significant population difference to spend just as much money.
Yeah, that's
that's kind of almost impressive.
Yeah, and there's something else here that kind of impressed me from a Pokemon perspective, and I'm not going to think this is. I don't want to take credit. This is my original thought, right?
Sure,
it shocked me. I was listening to the Kind of Funny Games cast this week, and Tim Geddes and host covered this. But essentially, like, if you put together the sales of like all the Pokemon games on consoles, right, presuming retail costs of like $60, whatever it is, that still doesn't equal the $4 billion in lifetime sales. And that is, and again, this is over 4 years.
Most of them are Game Boy portables, which, would used to be capped at 30 to 35. Then it went
Yep.
up to went up to 40 with 3DS.
Yeah.
I think the gold and silver remake
Mm-hmm.
was actually 45 because it came with a pedometer, so
Yeah.
it came with extra hardware, so they could charge the extra price. But yeah, so and then it wasn't until Let's Go and Sword and Shield where they were 60.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then you offer the DLC as well, right? The DLC or the season pass, right? The ton of
Right,
stuff.
so that brings it up to close to 100.
Close to 100. It's amazing. Pokemon and Pokemon Go specifically, such a cultural touchstone and zeitgeist, right? When it came out, and you could see everyone doing it. I remember, we were still in Lethbridge at that time. We hadn't moved yet. Kind of going down to the local. There was kind of a local downtown garden area, and you just see people like on the corner. You could see what they're doing. They're swiping, right? They're spinning. It's such an event, and there's such a following for it, right? So, and I know that you're a big fan of it as well. What keeps you coming back to Pokemon Go?
Yeah, it's just one of those habit games. You just things that you. It's kind of been especially during the pandemic. We're supposed to stay home as much as we can. But when I'm playing, I'm normally out driving. I don't leave my car, so I'm still socially distanced. If I do a raid, I'll drive as close as I can to it. And again, one of the things they added as an enhancement because of the pandemic is they doubled the radius of the distance you need to be to interact with gyms and stops. So things that I might have had to get out of the car and walk 5 feet before. Now I can reach it from my car. So even though I've gone out almost pretty much every day in March, April, May, but I was in my car the entire time. I was just driving my little route of like 5 or 6 miles to look for raids, spin my stops, and it just became habit. That was my wind down after a day of work.
Sure.
Because I work here at this desk that you can't see because of my background, but and so it's my I need to get out of the house moment. So I'm out. I could be out for 10 or 15 minutes and be home. I could find raids and not be home for an hour and a half. But it depends on what I need to do.
I remember getting up in the mornings and going for a morning walk in like the summer. Getting up about 5 o'clock in the morning and going for about a 3 to 4 kilometer walk every morning, and it was just like, it was just to kind of know where the Pokemon stops was, but it was a reason to get up and moving, right? It gave a bit of exercise, and it was really quite good.
If I had more stops and gyms in a walking distance, I would probably do that more often, but I don't. There's probably one gym and one stop that are in reasonable walking distance.
Sure.
So that's why I kind of still have to, drive around. Like there's a mile stretch on Johnson Drive in my city, maybe where there's 15 to 20 stops. So if I can do it outside of rush hour and if you drive slow enough, and remember I have the Pokeball Plus.
Yep.
So that will auto spin stops for me. So I'm not doing this while I'm driving. Don't worry.
Don't be busting his chops, folks.
Right. So that's the main reason why I try to drive there. If I drive slow enough, I'll spin all those stops, just driving a mile.
Yeah.
And then I end up having to throw away like probably 600 or 700 Pokeballs a month because I have so many that I never use.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But yeah, folks, let us know in the comments. Are you still playing Pokemon Go? We see people in their chat here. Let me know.
Mega Dragon says, "Screw Pokemon Go. Real Poke fans play Pokemon Cafe."
Pokemon Cafe. Wow, that's
a game.
I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna one up you. That one was it. Mecha Dragon who said that? Yeah. Mecha Dragon. I'm gonna one up you. Pokemon Shuffle. You know what I'm saying? Like, get on the Shuffle train.
See, I played Cafe that first launch day when I did a live stream on it, and never went back to it.
I did the exact same thing. It's literally on my app right there. And
I think I probably already deleted it off my iPad.
Yeah, I have all the Nintendo app stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Cinco says I play occasionally still. I do that as well. Like if I'm somewhere and I'm waiting, like my wife when I pick her up from her office, they have a Pokemon stop right there. So pull up and I'm like, oh, we'll just do a quick little spin,
Yeah.
grab a couple balls.
And Pokemon Go recently added Mega evolutions to select Pokemon, and I kind of like how they do it. Like they'll open up a chain of missions that'll give you Mega energy for that species.
Mm-hmm.
Because and like the they haven't done it for all of them yet. I think there's only 6, like 7 or 8 different ones. So like, I'll use Charizard as an example. Like the first time you evolve a Charizard into either Mega X or Mega Y, it'll cost 400 of these energies, and then you would then be Mega for 4 hours. So it would have stat buffs, CP buff, hit point buff, and then at the end of 4 hours, it would go back to normal. And you could have a maximum of 999 energy. They've since increased it to 2,000 energy and doubled the time that it is Mega. So when you turn one into a Mega, it's now 8 hours, and then if you evolve the same one in the future to a Mega, the cost will be less, like down to 40 instead of 400 or 200. I think it was 200 and then that goes down to 40. But that's on that specific Pokemon. If you evolve a different Charizard, it'll be 200 again. And it'll be, if I go Mega X, it'll be 200. And then if I go Mega again the next day, it'll say you can do X for 40 or Y for 200. So each one you have to pay the higher price of once. And once you do, and then so that's how that's being handled. And they've been kind of slow rolling those, like Houndoom, Pidgeot, and Gengar is the latest one that's mega capable.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm
Very
sure
cool.
I'm sure they'll make a big deal about Mewtwo at some point because that's the other one that has 2 evolutions.
Sure. Very cool. All right, folks, that has kind of been into our news. Let's jump into what we've been playing.
Before we start, Miz says in the chat, I play Pogo every day as part of my life. And he was with the one day I did live stream for Pokemon Go Fest. He was with me in the chat pretty much the entire day. So
that's great.
And that kind of helped me keep going. And he gave me hints on how to take out the Team Go Rocket leaders and Giovanni.
Nice. That is awesome. Thank you, Miz, for doing that. That's awesome. Jesse, you and I have both been playing Pikmin 3 Deluxe, so maybe we'll talk about that jointly, but together. But maybe why don't you tackle some of the little bits and bobs that you've been playing first, and we'll do a little bit of joint Pikmin 3, and then maybe I'll just finish off with what I've been playing. Is that fair?
That sounds fair to me.
All right.
So I've been playing more Dragon Quest VII. I'm up to like 82 hours now, so I'm approaching the end stretch before I roll credits. I don't know whether I'll grind to try to take out the super boss. I don't think I ever took it out the first time through, but that's what I spend most of my time doing. Playing more Super Mario 35. I think I hit 97 yesterday, and
wow,
I'll hit 98 tomorrow.
That's pretty.
The Monthly Mayhem is done in a few days, maybe even tomorrow. So I was hoping to get to 100. I don't think I will. It's because I have not won a game in over a month, and it is really frustrating. So I'll play once or twice, and then I'll say, I need to put this down because it's upsetting me. I got second and third so many times, but I just can't get first anymore. So I had like 120 games played and 14 wins. Now I have like 190 games played and still have 14 wins.
I have put a total of like 30 minutes into that game, and I have not played any of it since then.
Really?
Really, yeah. I just didn't bother, and I think I had other things that kind of took my attention. But yeah, so I should go back and give it a shot.
I'm hoping that they add some new stuff to it to kind of breathe more life into it, like they did with Tetris 99 with the themes. Like I'll go in and play for an hour or two to get the theme, and then I'll put it down again. But this one, I'm probably going to be ready to put it down soon, unless they do something new. And up until like that last month, I might step it up again, where everyone will come back to get their final play in.
Yeah. And I want to, and while we're actually on that topic of Dragon Quest, I want to throw this question at you, Jesse. Spider Shinna in our Discord asked the questions, with Square Enix talking about celebrating Dragon Quest 35th anniversary, I'm wondering what Jesse thinks is the ideal celebration for us it would be, and any chance we'll ever see it released in the West.
I think, well, if it's a mainline game, I think they'll release it in the West because 11's been a big hit. I'd like to see 10 translated and released. I don't think that'll ever happen because it's an MMO and that's got a ton of text. What the 11S is getting re-released on PS4, released on Xbox, and on Steam next month. So if it wasn't for that, I would think maybe they're working on Dragon Quest 12. If they're just releasing 11S for all the other platforms, they probably aren't that ready to make that announcement yet. I would, I think other possibilities might be re-releasing the Zenithian trilogy, 4, 5, and 6 on Switch and other systems. Like last year they released 1, 2, and 3. I'd like to see 9, also re-released with updated network support because that's only been released one time on the DS, and the network support on that is officially dead. And that's when I'm done with 7. Next time I'm ready to play Dragon Quest again, 9 will be the game I go to, and I did have it configured to go to a custom server that duplicates some of the official service functions to try to get that benefit. But I'll have to double check my settings and see if those are still valid.
Okay.
But cool. I think there might be side games. I know they've been doing a lot with mobile, and I'm not a fan of the mobile stuff.
Yeah.
I think a game just released, like Dragon Quest Tact, just recently released in Japan, and I don't think it's here yet, but it's supposed to come here soon. I'd like to see something more done on the console side than mobile side. But I think kind of those are like the, other than just some other new game that I haven't seen coming, I think those are the viable options.
Yeah, you are correct. Dragon Quest TAC has a release date of July 16th, 2020 on iOS and Android. So it looks like it's out now.
I don't know.
Could be wrong. No, maybe I'm seeing some other stuff that says it's a closed beta. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it could be Japan only.
Yeah. Okay. Great. What else have you been playing there, Jesse?
Then I picked this up last week, but didn't get a chance to play it until yesterday. But a game called Pixel Puzzle Makeout League.
Sure.
Which I just saw that and
reasonable.
Laughed. We've seen Picross games crossed over with other genres before, so this one is crossover with a dating sim. So I recorded. I didn't live stream it, but I recorded about 45 minutes or 50 minutes last night. That is out on YouTube now. It takes a different approach, but I can understand why. Because normally in a dating sim, if you pick a route and there's like no going back, you can't backtrack and change your mind and pick a different route mid game. But here you have multiple branching paths, and there are different puzzles locked behind each path. So it's kind of like Radiant Historia, where you have a timeline tree, and you can kind of go back to previous points at any time and do other things. So so you can have a branching path that will all meet together. So you can do all 4 paths before continuing the joint path, and kind of get the entire storyline in one playthrough instead of having to play it through 4 or 5 times. Like Arcade Spirits, I think it was earlier this year, was a game I played. I didn't do all. That is a dating sim and only a dating sim, but I think I did play it through at least twice to see various endings. I don't think I've played it more than that, but there was like 6 or 7 different routes to take in that game. So then, excuse me, when you start day 2, it unlocks a side section where you kind of go through a labyrinth, and it's just puzzle, no story. And you get to what they call the halfway point, and you cannot continue at that point until you've completed someone's route. So then I went back to play day 2, and then that had like 2 or 3 splits to do. So that took me a while to play through those, and now I'm ready to start day 3. Next time I pick it up. So there's Picross Puzzles is a Picross puzzle, and the controls are very Jupiter-like. So I was able to like pick it up and play it without even going through tutorials. Everything just worked the way I wanted it to. And there are a lot of settings to help customize the game. If you need extra hints or less hints, you can turn them on and off. The story is just stupid, insane, but it's funny that way. It's not. Oh, more story. I'm interested in the story. I think it's funny. It's just these characters just are morons and they have issues, but that's what makes them interesting to read.
That's fair.
And then I didn't have this in the notes, but the last thing I want to talk about is we got a review copy, a unit of the PhotoFast G Power. It's a portable dock similar to the Genki. So I did a video. I recorded an unboxing and demonstration of its use yesterday. It is not yet live, but will be probably before this weekend. Yeah, and it's a little bigger than I thought it was for a mini dock, but still, it's definitely smaller than the big dock. There's no USB-A ports. There's just USB-C and HDMI, but it works. It does what it's supposed to do. And this does retail for $99, so it's more expensive than a regular dock. But this is 4K. This is 4K compatible. So if you have a newer Mac or iPad that has USB-Cs out, you can send 4K signals to your TV. So this isn't designed for the Switch, but it works with the Switch. In fact, they use a Switch on their box.
Promo shot as well. Yeah. There you go.
And so that video showing that how I have that set up and demonstration will be out this weekend.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, awesome. And big thanks for them to send that over as well. I think always finding those solutions, especially kind of, travel docks, I think are always great. And I talk about how much I love my Genki one. It's absolutely fantastic as well. Jesse, let's talk about a game that you and I have both been playing. And it's Pikmin 3 Deluxe, right?
Yes.
How do you feel about it? What's your thoughts on it? How's it going?
Well, I've literally got my playthrough done in less than 3 days. So,
okay. So you're done the game completely.
Yeah, I'm not interested in trying the harder difficulty levels. So
okay.
I'm okay with that. I think the Wii U version only had one difficulty. They might have had a higher. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
But basically, the Wii U's normal is the Switch's hard.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you choose the Switch's normal, that's the easy mode. Basically, you have more nectar, and it gives you more hints, like floating blue arrows all over the place.
Yeah.
But
and the amount of Pikmin that you're allowed changes too, doesn't it? I guess it's an ultra spicy mode.
Normal and hard is 100. That's the base. That's the base amount. Ultra spicy has no nectar and limited to 60, which that would make the boss fight significantly difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think when I finished that boss fight, I think I was down to 30.
Oh wow! Okay. Okay, yeah. So you were just scraping by then by the skin of your Pikmin teeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how far have you gotten before I go on to the extras?
So I'm on to day 8, I think. So not super far into it.
You're only half an hour in or so. Maybe an hour.
The way that I've been playing, I'm about 2 hours in.
Okay.
It's taken me a little bit of time to kind of find my footing on it. I'm enjoying it. But talk to me a little bit about what you're thinking.
Okay, so when you get to a certain point in the story, you'll then unlock story mode. So story missions. Those are new for the Switch. That they focus on Olimar and Louie. And I won't spoil story about what happened, but why it's happening. But basically, what you do is you have at that point you have 4 days to play that are very Pikmin 2 like.
Okay.
You are searching for treasures. and that that was the goal of Pikmin 2, finding treasures because your company's in debt, and that's how you are tasked to get out of debt. And once you get to the point where you okay, I won't even go there, but after the 4 days, you can't continue until post game.
Okay.
So once you roll credits, then you'll have access to the second set of story missions, which then chronologically happens after the end of the game.
Okay.
There starts is a mix of things that you have to do, but the ultimate story is then similar to the Pikmin 1, where you have to find parts to the ship.
Okay.
Though not every day is finding parts of the ship. They start out really small, like just pluck all the Pikmin you can find, get 100 Pikmin, and next is get as so there's they do mix up the missions, but there are a total of 10 days in that section.
Nice.
So basically, I beat the boss, rolled credits, did all the story missions. Then I went back and got all the fruit I was missing. I got 46 out of the 66.
Yeah.
Which gives you kind of a mediocre ending. It doesn't sound very positive.
Okay.
But then I got all the missing fruit, beat the boss again, and then the ending was more uplifting.
Nice. Yeah. Super Vtendo says Pikmin is the first real-time strategy game I've played other than StarCraft, liking it more than I expected to.
Yeah, I don't like real-time strategy games. I've tried StarCraft 2, a few other ones, non-Blizzard, and I don't like any of them. But
sure.
So I did like SteamWorld Heist. I've been a Pikmin fan since the original game on GameCube. Mm-hmm. So if the game has a good story and doesn't require me to multitask too much, I'm okay with it. You're multitasking a little bit, but no more than 3 times.
Yeah,
and that is, everything has to go around a captain.
Yeah, and that is kind of the thing that I enjoy. I was thinking about this, that Nintendo has done really well, and the Nintendo franchise does really well. Is they kind of like they roll these game genres that could feel challenging or hard to get ourselves around, and they wrap them into this kind of nice little present or nice little design mechanic or scheme that doesn't feel daunting. It feels like, oh, really cool. Because to your point, yeah, Pikmin is an RTS, but you're like, oh yeah, but it's like a super fun RTS. You know what I mean? Like it changes a little bit. And I think of like Mario and Rabbids, right? That's built in the frame of a SOCOM, right?
I'm actually myself. Heist is turn-based, not real time.
Yes,
and as is your XCOM and your Rabbids.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. One of the things I've really enjoyed, so I didn't play. I had Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, and just for those of you that are like, Justin said he wasn't going to get Pikmin 3. Wow, he must have changed his mind. What happened there? This was provided to us by Nintendo. I expressed interest in it. Jesse had already got it, had already downloaded it, so it fell to me, and I was happy to play. But I am going to say this: I'm happy to be playing it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I do have it on the Wii U, but hadn't got into it as well. There's some nice little quality of life changes in this. I do find this about it. A couple things I do like about it. I really like the split screen option. I think that's really, really cool. Allowing for additional players, whether it's his partner or spouse, or whether it's you're playing with your kids. I think it's a really nice feature. And
that's something I haven't done because there's no one else here will play that with me. But one of the post game missions literally has your characters split, and the goal is to find each other.
Okay.
So it took me 4 times to do that, just because those are time limited. So and so you have to do everything in a time limit. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to queue up one while you're moving someone else. And if that was split screen, that would have been so much easier.
Yeah. And I think the other part I do like about it, especially in that split screen, is it gives you that option of like 1 player or 2 player. Like, how do you want to play this match? How do you want to start in? So I think there's a nice drop in, drop out functionality for parents from a gaming perspective, right? And I think of like if I hand the sword to my kids, I could see that they'd play it for a bit, and I think it's adorable, and they'd have some fun. But I think there could definitely spots where like, yeah, Dad, I'm frustrated. I can't get past this. I'm heading off to bed. Dad, can you solve this puzzle for me, right? Can you finish this tomorrow by tomorrow morning? Yeah, sure. I'll jump over to being one player, and I can probably get it done, right? So there's some nice scalableness of it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I think it's great. Definitely, I think worth the time. I'm really enjoying. There is obviously some. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the controls, right? There's a lot going on, especially as an RTS, right? I got to send these troops over there. It's this color. I've got to throw you. I actually have to, because there's 2 captains. I need to spend some time over here, but I need to actually split my time over here, and I need to send Pikmin across the water. Right? So there's a lot of management.
Are you using?
Pro controller.
Okay, I haven't. I have used motion controls since the remakes on the Wii. So, and when I played on the Wii U, I did motion controls. So, I tried doing motion controls with the Switch, and I did. It was successful, but it was a lot of fighting because that thing drifted like crazy. Because the way, if I'm pushing a button over and over again to like throw 50 Pikmin across the water, the reticle is literally drifting. Even though I'm not moving the Joy-Con at all, other than just pushing the button, that causes it to drift. So it's constantly resetting and readjusting. So at one point, you can't see this in audio, but if you can see this in the video. So like I'm starting off here, doing a cycle. By the end of the mission, that task in like 30 seconds, I'm like this.
Yeah.
And one time, literally, I was trying to move the reticle right. So move my hand right. It was moving left with my hand. It was moving right. It was drifting that bad. So I'm like, I knew that was going to be a problem because 7 billion humans did the same thing to me. I wish that was nicer.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I do like the motion control because you had more freedom on the screen.
Yeah.
But it's with the drift, it's just ugly.
I'm going to say that I'd recommend picking this up. Now, again, if you're, I think you used this comment before, it's new to somebody, right? Well, as I've talked about before, on the Wii U, it sold like 1.2 million copies. We have an installation base of 68 million. So for about 67 million of you, this is a new game. So I'd recommend giving it a shot. Maybe if you're questioning it, maybe it seems a bit difficult. There is a demo out on the eShop, and the great part about that demo is it actually transfers the data over into the actual game as well. So there is save data that goes over. I'd recommend giving the game a shot, giving it a try. I recommend it. I've been having a ton of fun. It's kind of a game, and it's a game that actually, it's one of those games that I want to keep going back to. I intend on playing a fair chunk of it during Extra Life stream as well. So I'm excited to jump into it.
The demo lasts until the first boss, which I did it in 3 days. Mm-hmm. I would presume if it takes you 5 days, it'll let you do it in 5 days.
Yeah, for sure. Great. Okay. Anything else you want us to close on that one there, Jesse, for Pikmin?
I think I covered everything.
Okay, fair enough.
I almost forgot about the controls, and you reminded me.
There you go. I'm glad we talked about it. But again, I'm just really impressed with how accessible it is for that split screen. That was a great thing they added. The bingo audition, the jumping in and out co-op, the side missions. There's a lot of value in that package that also wasn't there in the Wii U's value as well. So I would highly, highly recommend it. The graphics don't really look like they've changed much, by the way. They look very much
not at all. Yeah, and I think it's still. I don't even think it's been upscaled. I think it's still 720p.
Yeah, and not saying the graphics are like horrendous, but you can definitely be like, oh yeah, just.
Oh, the graphics, like the background art is great.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they do. It's such a great like Honey I Shrunk the Kids kind of aesthetic, right? And so it's awesome. A couple of the games that I have been playing. I have been continuing to play Control. I talked about this last week, Control Cloud version. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have really been enjoying it, really been playing it a fair bit. I have not experienced any huge issues with being cloud, being connected, right? Not having it on the on the actual native to the device, but rather through a launcher. Haven't experienced anything, so really enjoying it. I'm really happy that I'm having that experience, and it's going really well. So I would recommend it. Now, I do want to say, because we were having a really healthy conversation about this last week, we did get some an email into our inbox. So I want to take a quick moment here and give a bit of a read, because I think it's a nice kind of devil's advocate or second part of the enthusiasm that I kind of had for cloud gaming. And this message came from Scott. And I just want to say that Scott also said, hey, feel free to paraphrase this on the air so it's not as crazy. So let's just dive into it. And Jesse, be interested in your thoughts on this as well. Scott says, I had to write in to comment on the whole cloud gaming thing coming to the Switch. Cloud gaming takes everything that's bad about digital-only games and makes it far worse. It's bad for retro gaming. It's bad for the millions of people with poor internet, and it's ultimately bad for all games, as it encourages game publishers and developers to move in the wrong direction. This is also extremely bad for people who either A, don't buy games right when they're released, or B, don't finish games in a short amount of time. Or both. For example, I'm currently working through The Witcher 3. Dragon Quest 11 is still on my list to go. I still need to finish Skyrim. I haven't gotten very far in Doom yet either, and so on, so on. Any world of temporary games, due to them being cloud games, and therefore at the whim of the back-end running for the game to even work, is terrific and anti-consumer.
Terrifying.
Terrifying and anti-consumer. We should not be encouraging this. And a digital-only world, especially a cloud gaming world, is absolutely toxic to any concept of retro gaming in the future. I know a lot of you play old games in emulators. Imagine if it was possible. Imagine if that was impossible. How much you'd miss out on that as well. So much of great value would be lost. But all of those impatient people doing all digital are ushering in such a future. It's deeply sad. Also, I need to correct a comment made. Regarding the point of physical games over digital. Us physical loyalists don't want physical because of lack of SD spare or concerns about what needs to be downloaded.
I think it's supposed to be space, but yeah.
Space, yeah. So having a big download doesn't negate the point of buying the physical version over digital. We want physical so that we can loan it to friends and family and be able to resell it later if we choose to recoup some of our money. You don't really own digital cloud games, but with physical you do. Yes, I know technology has moved so it allows for cloud gaming to be possible, but like is often said, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that is from Scott. And I think Scott definitely, shows us a different perspective or different view into that cloud gaming. I think there's some definite valid points in there. I think, Scott, one of the things that I'm going to just lean into this statement here, and I'm going to kind of provide my pivot and my counter on it. You don't really own digital games, but I understand that. I understand I don't own this. As a person who's not a collector, who's rather looking for experiences, this going digital allows me to have an experience that would traditionally not have been accessible to me. So yes, I recognize that at any point they could pull the plug on Control and I don't get to finish that game or finish that experience. And of course, there are tons of other things that I have on the go. So there's a little bit of that managing of time and energy. I will say that it does kind of make me say, I do want to finish that experience quicker. And now that they have announced that they're pulling the plug, by the way, and I believe I saw a tweet going out that says that if they decide to shut down the cloud services, you get basically 6 months notice for it as well. I understand I don't own it. And I'm okay with that in relation to that component of it because I'm there for an experience. I'm not there to put something on my shelf. Obviously, when that experience leaves and I don't own it and I don't have it anymore, that's disappointing. But I think if the buyer knows what they're getting into, then I think that that's their choice. The other components that you did mention here, which Marnie raised last week as well, is just broad, internet connection. Yeah, I totally get it. It can't be for everyone, right? So you can't have that exposure. Would I have preferred a native version of Control? Yeah, I would have, right? That would be awesome. I prefer going down to EB Games and picking up a native version for my Switch. That'd be great. But unfortunately, it's not an option. Where I have a chance to buy physical, I will. But I'm also not buying it as a collector. I choose games for the experiences that I want from them. So I do think you're, so Scott, thank you for sending that in. I think there's some really good counters to that. And here's the other part as well. I will say in our like Discord community, this kind of like divided the line, right? There's, we can have Democrats and Republicans, but there was a real fight about like cloud gaming and not cloud gaming going on in our Discord chat. But a healthy conversation nonetheless. So Scott, I do appreciate your input. Jesse, what are your thoughts on this, or maybe have they changed at all?
Well, I've been pretty much almost 100% digital since the 3DS allowed it. When 3DS launched, that wasn't a thing. In fact, I remember I couldn't find my Ocarina of Time cart, so bought it again. Because at that point, because it wasn't available for digitally at first, it was since made available digitally. I bought it digitally, and then the next week they lowered the price to $20. But
of course they did. Of course they did.
Yeah, but I understand. I know many gamers buy and trade, buy and sell all the time, and keep a small collection inventory, whatever you want to call it. I have never been one of those people. Even though I don't play, every game I have outside. Maybe I could buy a game, play it for maybe an hour, and never touch it again. I still like to keep it. It's just the way my brain works. So there's no other than possible discounts buying an older game physically versus digitally. To me, it's the same. Either way, as long as the store remains active. Where I can continue to buy or re-download a game I bought and then deleted. I'll always have access to that data without being able to dig through 15 boxes of junk. Like I still have PS2 games and Wii games in boxes behind me that actually I found some games I completely forgot I had. Like the Pac-Man Versus. I actually found that the other day. It's on my bookshelf.
Nice. That's awesome.
So for me, I'm okay with digital. The streaming, I am still reluctant on that. I've done like remote play on PS4 before, where the game is still owned on my PS4, and I'm streaming to my computer to play the game. In fact, I did that once on a vacation over the internet. It was laggy, but I was playing Persona 5. It didn't have to be great. It's turn-based. It's fine. And then, Xbox Series X is going to do that out of the box. I'm pretty sure PlayStation 5 is going to do this, a similar thing as well. But when it comes to retro games streaming, that is, kind of not a fun experience. There is a service called AntStream that does exactly that. They run emulated arcade games and Atari games and older games that you can play on your browser. I think I signed up for a 30-day free subscription, played it for 20 minutes and said, "Don't charge me. I'm never logging in again."
Okay.
But it's there. Like I played a game of Burger Time and it worked, but there are so many better ways to do it.
Sure.
Of course, I have that arcade machine over in that corner, which is probably the optimal way for me to emulate an arcade game. But for those who don't have that, there are still better ways to do it. And I think, and I found out about that service because of Atari, the VCS said that they were supporting that service on their hardware. So that's why I tried it out. I'm like, okay, this is garbage. If I want to play an old Atari game or an old emulated arcade game, I want it natively downloaded and running on the system, not over streaming. So hope they say they're going to do that as well, but we'll find out.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, I think it'll be a fascinating world to see what happens and where Nintendo goes it as well.
Yeah. And going back into his email a bit, I can't speak for Witcher, but Dragon Quest 11, that would have been my game of the year last year if I played it last year, and that's 120 hours. So buckle in, you're in for a ride.
There you go. Yeah. Antonio says, I purchase physical and digital depending on the game. do what feels right. If you continue to purchase physical, companies will continue to publish physical, and vice versa. And we also see the other part of that, and I 100% agree there, Antonio. I am, some games obviously there are games that when they come out they are digital, right? Like it's I'll give a great example, Scorchbringer, which I'm Scorchbringer, which I'm really Scourgebringer, which I'm really enjoying. It's came out digitally. They just announced this week that they are going to have a physical version comes out, and you see companies partnering with Jesse, what's that company?
Limited Run.
Thank you, Limited Run. So we do see physical runs of these games, but typically like when a game hits and it's a digital game, like I kind of want the game now. Bigger releases, so like Age of Calamity.
Which reminds me, I ordered Shantae. That's coming.
Nice, there you go. Age of Calamity, it's a physical version. I'll pick that up. Phoenix Rising. I'll pick that up physically, right? I do a little bit of like managing my SD card, right? I don't want to pick if like I got all the BioShock games and Borderlands. If those could have been physical and not had a massive patch, probably would have done that as well. Witcher I picked up being physical because I didn't want to have 40 gigs.
That's still a benefit only for Switch. If you're on the other systems, it's an install, so what you're playing off a hard drive or SSD in the new systems, regardless if you digitally buy it or physically buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
So and then it's still equally patched.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot going on there. Speaking of games that I have played, Jesse, indulge me for a couple of moments here, would you?
What's that?
Last game I've been playing. Ladies and gentlemen, you know my frustration with Apex Legends not being available on the Nintendo Switch, my shooty game. So I was frustrated, and I was seeing all these tweets from Apex, and they were like, it's available on Steam. And I was like, grr, I don't have Steam. And then I was like, I do have Steam. What am I doing with my life?
Guess what? If you didn't have Steam, it's free to get Steam.
I know. So I forgot I had downloaded it because we'd done some reviews or some early looks at some games developers were putting on the Switch, but had early access to Steam. So I downloaded Apex Legends Season 6 or Season 7. And I jumped in, built myself an account, and jumped in and played it today. And so this is the first time I have done any Steam gaming whatsoever. And I was able to Bluetooth my Nintendo Switch to my laptop. And
I think my Steam library is like 300 games.
Yeah. And for those of you that do not know, like I'm literally running on this laptop. I am running on a ThinkPad laptop. And much kind of like the last comment, just because you could doesn't mean necessarily that you should. I am able to play. There is a little bit of I'm not a huge graphics kind of like connoisseur. You can definitely tell that I'm pushing the laptop to swing a little bit above its weight. But I will say that from my experience with Apex, is definitely what I was asking for. It is definitely that lovely kind of Venn diagram of Overwatch meets Fortnite, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm hyped for it. I'll play some more of that, but it was my first experience with Steam. It's my first experience with Apex, and it was very cool, actually. So it got me even more excited for it to come to the Nintendo Switch when it inevitably does as well.
So I got a funny Steam story.
Oh yeah, sure.
I thought I had it. Now it left me. But
okay.
if I remember it again, I'll bring it up.
That's fair enough. Antonio asks, do you like Apex more than Rogue Company? At this point, yes, I do. And I've only played Apex for about 90 minutes. The environment, the world, Rogue Company, I think, is still very good. But it's just not scratching that itch the way I want it to. There's some mechanics about it that aren't necessarily like Apex. They've got a really great like run and slide, which feels really fantastic. The characters feel distinctly different. There is kind of some of these Overwatch features, like Gibraltar very much has kind of like that Winston shield that we know from Overwatch. The dialogue is fun. The arena is engaging, right? And I do kind of like that the Battle Royale push. Some squad-based looting and shooting. It to me is kind of really scratching that itch. So I'm gonna keep playing, and I will tell you though, because maybe there's something I have to do in my settings. I did it's a Nintendo Switch controller. That's great, but like when I run up to like do my special, it does not say L and R. It's like LB RB or something like this, and I was like,
L2 R2.
Yeah, I was like, what are we talking about here? So I think it's mapped to being like an Xbox controller. So that's taking a little bit of my brain having to learn new things, and so my brain doesn't like learning new things, but it's getting there. It is getting there.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
sorry, go
remember
ahead.
the story.
Good, excellent.
So the PC I built before the current one that I'm using,
Mm-hmm.
I built it in 2011. So old by today's standards.
Yes.
When Final Fantasy 13 launched on Steam, for like, I think it was like $20. So I picked it up and tried to play it. I call it reciprocal frame rate.
Okay.
It was seconds per frame.
Okay.
It did not go well. So when I built this machine as a test, I launched it. I'm like, okay, that looks better.
Nice. I like it. Cool. All right. Jumping into, we've got a couple of little questions here to ask from our community. So do we, community spotlight, we got a bumper for that. All right. This question
I
comes
think there's only one question left. I think we've already hit everything at some point.
there's two actually. I've got them highlighted. So there was one from Twitter that I pulled.
Oh,
in,
okay.
actually.
I see the other
Yeah.
one.
That's okay. Brandon asks on Twitter, Nintendo Dads, I've noticed Nintendo has allowed third parties to use their IPs lately, Mario and Rabbids, Hyrule Warriors. Is this a new thing for Nintendo, or have I not noticed? Is this a new thing? I don't know if it's a...
It was
Go
new
ahead,
when
Jesse.
Mario and Rabbids did it.
Yeah.
And then since we've had Hyrule Warriors, we've had
Starlink. Starlink was the other one of those. the Star
Starlink,
Fox
we had
franchise.
Cadence of Hyrule, Necrodancer.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, why is my brain not working on that one? Yes. Yeah.
And and there was a big talk around last year E3 time when all these games were announced. And so it's by today's standards not necessarily new, but new in the lifetime of Nintendo. It's relatively
Yeah.
new, and
Yeah.
we all agreed we wanted to see more of this.
Yeah, I think this is Nintendo understanding that they're feeling more comfortable expanding their IPs or allowing them to be used in different ways. And this was part of the strategy from a business strategy they mentioned a couple of years ago, right? Where they're like, we're going to have theme parks and movies and all these other things, right? We want to get into kind of growing our IP, and to be able to grow their IP, they need to be able to be used. But I think the thing that I would say that is I have never felt like a Nintendo and third-party collaboration has felt like outside of like, I've never been like, oh, that's not what Nintendo would have wanted with that. That doesn't feel very Mario-esque, right? Everything. And I think the game
like the movie from '92.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's a great example, right? You're like, this is not Nintendo-esque. I think the game that kind of I think set the bar for that really was Mario and Rabbids.
Or was that '93? But it doesn't matter.
Could have been, yeah. I think it was Mario and Rabbids that really set that bar of like, wow, this is what this is what Mario feels like in this universe. Now there are some arguments of, well, like, would Mario be using a blaster? You're like, okay, get over yourself, right? But like everything else felt like just in the spirit of Nintendo, in the spirit of Mario, and I think it's a fascinating to see. And I know that we've kind of like we all kind of made the joke a while ago, or not the joke, but the comment of like, I want like Thomas Happ, the guy who's doing Axiom Verge. I want him to do like a Metroid game, so I think that there's such an interesting kind of work that Nintendo is allowing for their IPs to be used a bit more. I think it's great. Jesse, is there any ones that like we're missing? Like this wasn't a thing back in the 2000s and the 90s, was it?
I think like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics Games we talked about earlier. I think was probably the first one, and that was 2007.
Yeah.
So, and even then, that was limited. I think that was just limited to the Olympics Games. I don't think there was a lot of crossovers going on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
They started bringing third-party characters into Smash, and then now we're kind of evolved into third parties are using Nintendo IP.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's fantastic. It's always interesting to see where that continues to go as well. Last question comes from Nick, I apologize, from Chris on Discord, and he says, "What are the chances the new Switch goes fully mobile and has an ability to add an SIM card for mobile data?"
I think we might have talked about that in the post-show last week, but I think we agreed that was a bad idea.
Yeah,
because even among from area to area, you could have spotty internet. Like I do most of my gaming in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
I barely get a phone signal down here.
Mm-hmm.
that's more if you're out and about and outside or in the higher level of a building. I think the second, or probably the biggest detractor to that would be you got to pay someone, and it's not Nintendo. Data charges, which would probably cost $20 or $30 a month.
Yeah, and then I think the other part of it,
I think just for like an Apple Watch, I think that's still like 15 plus taxes.
Yeah,
10 or 15.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't, I mean, Apple, or sorry, I apologize, Apple. Nintendo would have to figure out how they get a cut of that as well. Do you know what I mean? I think I don't think they would, not for the data charges. No.
Ms. actually brought an earlier example of Nintendo IP in third party games. Soul Calibur 2.
Oh yeah, that's a great example. Yeah, I think so. We're seeing an increase of them doing it. They've done it in the past, but we're seeing much more of it, like kind of an increase as well. I think going back to Chris's question here about the new Switch, I think it's more likely that we may see a stronger Wi-Fi antenna as maybe part of that improvement as well.
That's a low bar. It better be better.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you on that one. So, I think
I would like to see, like in an upgraded Switch, having a dock that's Ethernet ready without needing an extra dongle taking up a USB slot.
Oh yeah, that'd be a nice one. Yep. That's
because Wii U and Switch all use the same dongle. This stuff everything else has Ethernet port is ready.
Yep, that's a great point. I think, is that all the questions? Just going through here. Let's go through our chat really fast.
So.
I don't think there's anything else in our chat. I think Jesse, that might be it. That might be a show today.
It might have been.
Might have been it. Well, let's start closing this thing out. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can do a couple things. First and foremost, big thanks to our amazing Patreon producers, Chris Mears, David Ernsberg, and Antonio. And I just need to call him Antonio because he said, you don't need to pronounce my last name, because he recognizes that I have butchered it for the last several times I've said it.
Something tells me you're not the only one.
No, I'm probably not as well. I do want to say this as well, folks. If you're interested, head over to tpublic.com. We got some new merch over there. Of course, just use our website, which is nintendodads.org, where you can go right to our merch site. We got some t-shirts, stickers, cups, mugs, all those good things with our sweet new logos on there as well. If you want to check out our latest content, we are on all the social media platforms, but I would urge you, if you could, go over to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, watch some videos. We've got a product review of these Arctis 7P wireless headsets up there that just launched yesterday. We have got lots of first impressions and Let's Plays of videos. We have got unboxings, all kinds of good stuff. Of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all those places. And if you want to catch us on your favorite podcast catcher, that's Apple, Google Play, Castbox, Stitcher, all those good things. Do that. You can send us an email at nintendodads@gmail.com or a voicemail at 92925 NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix, which is the music you see here within the show. And ladies and gentlemen, for myself, for Jesse, that's it. And reminder, Extra Life 2020 happens this weekend. Tune in live on Twitch and on YouTube. We love your support. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening into Nintendo Dads.
I don't know what animal this is or what Pokemon.